to a new video. Today is part 2 of creative things to do when you're bored. If you haven't seen the first video yet, I'll link it somewhere here. I had some new ideas for a new video, so I made one, and I hope you enjoy watching. My first idea was to draw on a glass bottle. And I used a white pen for this, but you can also use any other color. I looked for some motifs on Pinterest and I decided to go more into the cottagecore vibe. So I chose butterflies and mushrooms, and I also had those leaves on the glass bottle. So I just drew around them, and I also added some bees and some flowers, and that's the tutorial on how I did the bees. But it really doesn't have to look flawless at all. You can just experiment with the different colors or motifs, and then you're done. I also bought some new fairy lights recently, so I decided to put them in one of the bottles, and the fairy lights were actually really bright, but it looked so pretty, and I put them in the bottle. And I just feel like they're perfect for the fall and the winter season because it makes the atmosphere so much more cozy and comfortable. So I found these old Converse shoes under my bed, and I thought I could maybe decorate them a little bit because I almost never wear them. So I decided to put some flowers on them to make them look more interesting. And as always, I'm really not that good at explaining, but this is how you do the leaves of the flower. It's not as complicated as it looks in the video. I'm gonna show you some other clips later, and it looks a little easier there. So this is how they turned out, and I'm actually so happy with the way they turned out. It looks so cute and so pretty. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna wear those shoes more often. Something that I've been obsessed with lately is making my own jewelry. I know in the last video I already showed you how to make the daisy necklace, but there are just so many different ways you can make your own jewelry. You can buy these jewelry sets online. I saw that there are a lot of them on Amazon, and I'm gonna put some links in the description below. And I saw a lot of people wearing those safety pin chains, so I wanted to try to make my own. So you start off by separating this little ring and putting it in the one side of the safety pin. Then you're gonna take the second safety pin and put it in the other side through the same ring. Then you're going to close the ring again, and we're going to keep doing those 3 steps until our chain is long enough. And at the end it should look something like this. And like I already said, there are so many different ways to make your own jewelry, so here are some other sets I did. I always like to add a little flower or a crystal. Sometimes I like to use the same colors, just like I did here, like orange, yellow and gold, because they're all matched very well, and they were all the colors of the crystals. And sometimes I also like to mix the colors a little bit. I think you saw this daisy necklace in my last video, but they all still match with the colors. And other times I like to just mix the colors randomly, but it's not that random because I try to keep the colors in a row. If you watched my last video, you know that I really like candles because I already did the flower candles, but now I also wanted to do a candle holder, and I wanted to do something simple and not something too difficult. So I decided to just make a flower out of air dry clay, and I used a needle to kind of cut out the shape of the flower. And to make the edges look smoother, you just need to use some water. Once I was done with the shape of the flower, I decided to also put a little heart on the side, and then I started coloring the flower and the heart. And then I was done, and as you can see, it's really not that difficult or big or whatever, but it's just pretty simple and I really like it that way. So I have these clothespins probably since I was in elementary school, and I never really used them for anything, but I decided to put some mushrooms on them out of paper. So I drew the different parts of the mushroom on the paper in the different colors. I used red for the head of the mushroom, then I used green for the grass and white for the bottom of the mushroom. And then you have to cut them out, and that's a little bit tricky because it's so small, but you can do it. I also drew some white spots on the top of the mushroom, but I ended up not liking it, so I changed it, but you're gonna see that later. So you have to glue the different parts together, and then you're gonna glue the mushroom on the clothespin. And then you're basically done, but I also wanted to add some white spots that looked a little bit better than the ones I tried before. So I took some white paint and just put some spots on the mushroom. Another thing you can do is paint the flower pot, and I don't have video footage of me painting it, but that's how it turned out. I just put some sunflowers on it, and I think it looks so cute even though it's so simple. And there are so many different things you can put in a flower pot, and I think it always looks good. And here are also some inspirations that I saw on Pinterest, so yeah. I feel like I say this all the time, but I'm obsessed with the cottagecore aesthetic. So obviously I do a lot with flowers and mushrooms and plants in general. And I saw a video on YouTube, I think, of someone making a crochet mushroom, and I had to try it. So I not only made one, but 6 mushrooms. I'm gonna put the link to the original video of the tutorial in my description box so you can watch it. And I still had some leaf garlands in my room from my last room makeover, so I decided to use that to put the mushrooms on it. And I honestly love the way it turned out so much, it's so cute, and I decided to put it next to my fairy lights because I thought that it would look so pretty next to the fairy lights, because then it would also glow in the dark, and I just thought that was a good idea. And I also used my mushroom clothespin to make them stick to the fairy lights. I remember that I read so many books when I was younger, But sadly, when I got my first phone, I think that kind of stopped, and I stopped reading and I was only on my phone, which is so sad. And I'm glad I only got my first phone at 12 years old, because I honestly kind of missed that age where we didn't have phones. And I mean, 12 is still pretty young. But I'm recently getting into reading more books again, so I needed some new bookmarks and I decided to make my own. So I took some paper, cut out the shape I wanted, and I decided to use different techniques to decorate them. Like for one I used watercolors, and for another one I used dried flowers. And then I put some tape on both sides of the paper so it would be waterproof and just that it wouldn't break that easily. So here's how they turned out. One thing that I always wanted to try was to make a vision board, but I just never really had enough motivation to do it. But then I made a Pinterest board and it was honestly so much fun. I'm gonna print out the pictures for the vision board now, and there's my printer. It's already, what time is it? It's 9 p.m. now, but I didn't do anything the whole day because I'm sick a little bit, and I slept all day, so now I'm awake. So I'm gonna do the vision board now. So I have all of the pictures here, and now I have to cut them out. And if you saw my room makeover, you know how much I love cutting out pictures. I don't like it. It takes forever. All of my room decorations are something that I cut out of paper, like the butterflies here. If you watched the video, you saw how many butterflies I had to cut out. I hope this doesn't take that long, because otherwise I'm gonna sit here all night. I'll see you in 2 hours. Okay, so I know that usually you put the pictures on a board or a carton or something like that, but I wanted to do something different. I didn't want the vision board to hang in my room because I don't want everyone to look at it, and it also doesn't really match the aesthetic of my room. But I wanted it to be somewhere I look often, so I would always remind myself of it and look at it and just know what I'm working for. So I decided to put it. So this is my closet from outside. Please ignore the mess in the background. And please ignore the inside of my closet because it's not cleaned. But I want the pictures to be here. So every time I open my closet, I can look at them. I found those little tape things you can use for photos, so I used them. And I put them on the back of the picture. And then I just started to put the pictures on my closet door, and I started doing it really randomly, but that was kind of a stupid idea because, I don't know, I think it's better to maybe organize it a little bit so you have a little bit of a plan where you want to go. And I also kind of messed up that part here, but it's okay because it's not about being perfect or making no mistakes, because it's really not that important. It's really just about the message behind the pictures and what it means to you, so it really doesn't have to be flawless. I think making a vision board can just really help you find out what you like in life and what your goals are, and those don't have to be big goals, they can be small. It's still important, and I think it's a great way to remind yourself of the good things in life and just what you enjoy doing. I hope you can use some of the tips to do something when you're bored and create something, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!